Hej, gramy dalej w Broken Sword Shadow of the Templars Reforged. Wróciliśmy z Syrii, więc czas udać się do Hiszpanii. Do Villa de Vasconcellos. Od razu powiem, że to jedna z moich ulubionych lokacji w grze. Przede wszystkim ze względu na te piękne widoki. Mnóstwo zieleni, taki wyjątkowy klimat.
I'm no student of architecture, but the little building looked old. I wondered if it was some sort of summer house.
A tutaj zamiast od razu wyłuszczyć sprawę, w jakiej przybyliśmy, no to trochę zwiedzania nie zaszkodzi, myślę.
The door was a handsome piece of work, in keeping with the ornateness of the rest of the building. Rats! It's locked. Over the doorway was a statue of a hooded figure bearing a cross. It looked kind of sinister.
Także, jak powiedziałem, mnóstwo zieleni, a tam jeszcze piękny widok, bezkres wód w oddali.
Down below the estate, I could see the sea stretching away. It was a beautiful sight, and looked a lot like the scene from the manuscript. I wanted to go swimming, but I didn't have the time.
Wracamy. No i te dźwięki przyrody. Coś pięknego.
There was a crotchety old guy watering the lawn. If this garden was all his own work, he was more capable than he looked.
Skąd wiesz, że marudne, skoro jeszcze z nim nie rozmawiałeś?
Hi, is this the de Vasconcellos house?
Who wants to know?
I could tell the old coot was going to be trouble. My name's George'a Stobbarta. I was wondering whether...
The house is not open to the public.
This is the de Vasconcellos house.
And what business is that of yours, senor?
Look, all I want is to speak to the head of the household.
There is no household. Only the countess and myself.
Do you know what this is?
See, I have a similar tool for opening culverts on the estate.
I don't suppose this red nose means anything to you, does it?
Ah! El Flojo!
El who?
El Flojo! He is a clown on state television.
Oh, is he any good?
He is as funny as scabies. Without the laughs.
Ciekawe porównanie.
Look at this tissue.
It's a tissue with some greasy muck on it.
Yes, that's right. Do you recognize this man?
No,
Would you like to shake hands?
I do not think so, senor.
This lab pass mean anything to you?
Nothing.
Niezbyt rozmowny.
Have you got any use for a fistful of plaster?
No.
What do you make of this?
So that's it. You're a salesman.
If I was hawking medical supplies, I can think of better places to hawk them.
No chociaż akurat sprzęt medyczny, biorąc pod uwagę jego wiek i wiek hrabiny, który jest, zdaje się, zaawansowany, też biorąc pod uwagę na te ilustracje, na ten portret, no to akurat sprzęt medyczny ciśnieniomierz mógłby się sprzedać.
Have you ever seen a lens like this before?
No, senor. Never.
What do you know about the Templars?
Who wants to know?
Are you angling for a bribe or something?
You have nothing that I want, senor, except the pleasure of your absence.
The guy was obviously protecting the Countess against the whole world. But why? Tell me about the Countess de Vasconcellos.
She doesn't receive guests. That's all you need to know.
You don't even know what I have to talk to her about.
She hasn't won the lottery, has she?
Nie wygrała.
No, she hasn't won the lottery.
A more cunning man might have claimed that she had.
Oh yeah? They might have, might they?
And that more cunning man would have been kicked off the premises. The Countess doesn't do the lottery.
Okay. Well, I'll see you around.
Adios.
Ciekawe, czy gdybym kliknął na kciuk w górę, to czy bym mnie wykopał.
Hey, you.
Yeah? What is it?
You would not like it if people just wandered into your home, would you?
Well, no, I guess not.
Then show a little consideration.
Okay. Sorry.
No, trzeba jakoś odwrócić jego uwagę, byśmy mogli się niepostrzeżenie wślizgnąć do domu. Ten wąż rodzi jakieś
The
nadzieje.
hose ran from some sort of utility room all the way to the lawn. I didn't like the idea of carrying 30 yards of hose around me, so I left it alone.
Piękne kwiaty, te rośliny pnące się w górę po murze. No i ta wieża w oddali też porośnięta roślinnością, jakimiś kwiatami. Pięknie to wszystko wygląda, aż chciałoby się w takim miejscu spędzić wakacje. Nie. Rozpędziłem się trochę.
My hose has stopped.
Yeah?
See, my hose never stops.
Well, I'm sorry to hear it. It's always sad when an old tradition comes to an end.
Did you have anything to do with it? See, you.
Well, I'm shocked. I'm mortified. How could you think such a thing?
Very easily, senor. Very easily. I'm going to find out why my hose has stopped. And that means going into the house. You are not, absolutely not, to go in the house. If you do go in the house, I will set the dogs on you.
No, taka groźba wymowna. No, a psy były na nas spuszczane już w paru przygodówkach. Przypominam sobie Art of Murder, tylko nie pamiętam, czy to była pierwsza, czy druga część. Przypominam sobie też Still Life, gdzie uciekaliśmy przed psem. Lepiej tego nie ryzykować, bo tamte sytuacje... No, o włos nie zakończyłyby się pogryzieniem bohaterów, może nawet ich śmiercią. Tam są pewnie psy.
I love suits of armor. Who doesn't? A big chandelier studded with plain white candles. Probably pretty impressive when all lit up. And it must keep the moth population down.
A nie możemy tam wchodzić, bo on nas zauważy.
There was a big aspidistra sitting on a table in the hall.
Nie wiadomo, ile mu to zajmie. Możemy się spróbować schować ze zbroją, no ale szkoda czasu. Trzeba znów jakoś odwrócić jego uwagę. I teraz za zbroję.
I hid behind the armor and waited for developments.
Hey, you. I know you are there, American. All right, you dogs, I'm coming.
Wydawało się, że nas zauważył, ale jednak nie. Myślał, że poszliśmy tam do psów. Więc teraz szybko, schodami w górę. Dom też wygląda ładnie, ma swój styl.
Madre Dios, who are you?
My name's George'a Stobbarta. I'm sorry to burst in like this.
You must leave at once. You're not wanted here.
Please, if you'd just listen a minute.
Very well. State your business, Senor Stobbarta.
There's been a series of murders, part of some conspiracy. Anyway, the trail led me here.
Here? There is nothing for the outside world here.
Over 600 years ago there was.
What do you mean?
This whole thing ties in somehow with the Knights Templar.
The Knights Templar are dust.
They had a secret that was so important, they went to a lot of trouble to hide it.
I do not see what this has to do with my family.
Your family had a strong connection with the Templars, right? I believe that they've planted some clues here.
Why should I believe a complete stranger who barges into my home?
Just let me have a look around. If I find nothing...
You'll be spending the night at the police station. Very well. Please, sit down.
Thank you. Do you know what this is?
No, it looks very practical, though.
Does this red nose mean anything to you?
No, dear. El Flojo.
That would be the TV clown, yeah?
Clown in all important aspects. Apart from the one about being funny.
Does this tissue mean anything to you?
Where is this line of questioning going?
Nowhere helpful. Do you recognize this man?
No, I have never seen him before in my life. Who is he?
I've got a couple of names for him, but they're probably false. He's the killer.
No, his face is utterly unfamiliar.
Good. At least he hasn't been here. Yet. Would you like to shake hands?
A formal bow will suffice.
Does this lab pass mean anything to you?
Nothing at all.
Do you know what this is?
Desiccated gypsum.
No, it's plaster of Paris. Plaster of Paris is desiccated gypsum, isn't it? I could tell that I wasn't impressing her.
No, biorąc pod uwagę, że nie życzy sobie gości, a ty pytasz ją o jakieś drobnostki, no to może się poczuć zirytowana.
Maybe not. I know your family is involved with the Templars, but I don't know how.
You should be asking how my family were involved, Senor Stobbarta. The Templars ceased to exist centuries ago, and as for the de Vasconcellos, the line dies with me.
I'm sorry.
Don't be.
Okay, whatever happened almost 700 years ago. So, if the Templars left any clues, they're going to be in stuff that dates back to the early 14th century.
Obviously.
So, what do you have around here that's early medieval?
Early medieval. Let me think. Well, the house is relatively modern, a scant 3 centuries old. Or, of course, the chess set.
That chess set is over 600 years old? It must be worth a fortune.
Indeed it is. Not that I would part with it, of course.
No, I wouldn't either. That's the sort of thing that gets handed down to your children. Sorry.
Its value is less than you might think. The set is not complete. One of the pieces is a modern replacement. As to the original, it was lost a long time ago.
Nobody has any idea where it is?
No. The children had it when they were taken.
Children? What children?
All in good time, Senor Stobbarta.
May I examine the chess set?
Certainly. But do not move any of the pieces.
Okay, thanks. Close up, the modern piece stood out like a sore thumb. There was something else odd about the set. All of the original pieces had irregular bases.
My lady, I have to warn you, there's a... You! Why, I feed you to the dogs.
Lopez, what have I told you about feeding intruders to the dogs?
But, my lady...
Never without my permission. Senior Stobbart, if I find that you're wasting my time, you will be fed to the dogs. Now, I want to show you something interesting. Follow me.
Zabrzmiała jak realna groźba.
Lopez, unlock the door, por favor. This is the only remaining structure on the estate contemporary with the Templars.
Nice. What is it, a summer house?
A mausoleum, Senor Stobbart.
Oh,
Come with me.
Hey, senor.
yeah?
I do not know what you have told my lady to be shown these favors, but I do not trust you.
You've got nothing to worry about. Aren't you coming in?
No, the dead do not interest me. My garden is a living thing. I will be there.
Nie wiem czemu, ale wzbudza on moją sympatię. I do not trust you.
Wow, this is old.
It was constructed in the 13th century as the final resting place for the Vasconcellos Templars.
It's well maintained.
These are my ancestors, and they deserve respect. I come here at least once a week to say a prayer for them.
Mind if I have a look around?
By all means.
The mausoleum contained 5 tombs for 5 of the Knights Templar, man-size in marble. I wasn't about to start heaving at sarcophagus lids with the Countess standing there.
No, każda lokacja w tej Hiszpanii jest bardzo ładna. Nie wiem, czy gdybym miał wymieniać taką ulubioną dużą miejscówkę, to czy nie wskazałbym właśnie tego miejsca.
Hanging from the ceiling was a huge yellowed candle. It looked really old and had never been lit.
Nie mam na myśli samego mauzoleum, ale oczywiście Hiszpanię.
In front of the shrine was a lectern with a Bible on it. A big statuette of the Virgin Mary kept an eye on the place. On removing the Bible, I found a pattern on the lectern top. Hey, it's a checkerboard! Close up, I could see that the pattern was made up of glass squares over a checkerboard pattern. Some of the squares had little jagged holes in the middle. The lectern top had a pattern of glass squares on it.
No, czyli możliwe, że tamte szachy tutaj się nam przydadzą, że one są jakoś związane z tą szachownicą.
May I ask you something?
You may ask.
You certainly know your history.
What's your opinion of the Templars, Senor Stobbart?
The Templars? Well, they seem no worse than a lot of the knightly orders.
You are mistaken. Compared to the simpering politicians of the Hospitallers or the brutish Teutonics, the Knights Templar were the embodiment of chivalry. The filthy, money-grabbing French king and his pet pope did a great wrong. A bane settled upon my family at the whim of that self-seeking tyrant.
It was all a long time ago.
Some things don't die. Injustice is one of them.
No tak, chociaż historia się zaciera po czasie i są różne interpretacje niektórych postaci. W historii Polski też mieliśmy liczne przykłady. Jedną z nich jest Stanisław August Poniatowski, przez niektórych uważany za zdrajcę, przez innych za światłego człowieka, który po prostu mierzył siły na zamiary, ale wyprowadził kulturalnie nasz kraj, przez co później mogliśmy odzyskać tę niepodległość. Więc różne bywają opinie. Czasem trzeba spojrzeć z różnych stron na daną postać.
Is the Virgin Mary really the right person to be sharing a mausoleum with 5 knights?
You are showing your ignorance, Senor Stobbart. The Templars were dedicated to the Virgin Mary.
That's a big candle. Where would you buy a thing like that from?
You could not. It is an antique, unique to my knowledge.
Just how old is it?
It dates from the Middle Ages, when the Moors controlled Spain. The candle was to be lit as a signal to the estate workers if the Moors attacked.
Who exactly are these people?
My ancestors. These 5 men were all members of the Templars.
5 ancestors in the order. You must be very proud.
Not 5. 6.
Where's the 6th knight?
He was lost to us.
You lost an ancestor?
It is a family matter. It can have no relevance.
Well, it's connected with the curse of the Vasconcellos, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I hope you will honor my desire not to talk about it.
Okay, well, I'll leave it for now.
Niektórych ran się po prostu nie rozdrapuje.
What's the story with the glass chessboard?
Glass chessboard. Oh, the pattern on the lectern. Purely decorative, I'm sure.
There are pieces of glass missing from it.
Oh, it has been like that since I was a girl.
The gaps in the glass chessboard look awfully deliberate.
No, it is ridiculous. What possible significance can it have?
It's part of a chessboard, and the gaps are for...
Senor Stobart. You cannot mean...
This place was built for the Templars. Your chess set is as old as the Templars. It's kind of suggestive, isn't it? I think this must be it. This is what the manuscript is pointing to.
This is extraordinary. Am I to understand that the Templars left a puzzle here? And in all of this time we failed to realize that there was a puzzle?
It was wonderful to watch the Countess change before my eyes.
Right. Well, no time for wallowing in self-pity, eh, Senor Stobart? This mystery has had a good long run, but it ends here and now.
Ale się
All
ożywiła.
those years of fatalism were falling away from her.
Lopez! Lopez! Put that hoe down and listen! Go to the house and get my chess set. Yes! The old chess set! Oh, damn the game! Now, hurry! My, this is exciting, is it not?
Don't get too excited. This could be a blind alley.
Oh, I do not believe that for a moment.
It's good to see you happy.
Happy? You know, I think I am.
While we're waiting, I'd really like to know what happened here. I mean, the curse and everything?
It all began at the time of the dissolution of the Templars. Don Carlos had already left their ranks to become a scholar.
Don Carlos. Is he the guy who went missing?
Si, but he had reckoned without a local bishop. The bishop envied us our lands and determined to use the papal edict as an excuse to destroy us. Don Carlos was on one of his scholarly journeys when the Inquisition arrived. When Don Carlos returned, it was to find his loyal manservant slain and his children gone.
They took the kids? But why?
Oh, we will never know. The bishop denied all knowledge of the children's disappearance. But witnesses had seen his men kill the servant who had been charged to protect them.
What happened to Don Carlos?
He swore he'd find his children if he had to go to the edge of the world. He put on his armor and took up his sword and shield and rode out alone. He was never seen again. Ah, Lopez, you have the pieces.
Si, my lady, as you asked.
Por favor, Senor Stobart, would you be so kind?
My lady.
Calm yourself, Lopez. I believe Senor Stobart's motives are pure.
Very well, my lady. My lady seems to trust you.
But you don't.
No, senor.
Przynajmniej jest szczery.
It fits, Senor Stobbart. It fits.
Working quickly, I found which pieces went into which holes.
No i tutaj prawdopodobnie trzeba zamatować czerwonego króla, jednocześnie nasz król nie może być szachowany. To jest nasz król, więc król przeciwnika jest tu. W tej chwili jest szachowany przez naszego skoczka, no ale nie będzie matowany, bo na przykład to pole jest dla niego bezpieczne. To jest goniec, okej. Nasz król nie może być szachowany, więc nasz król wiadomo, że nie może stanąć tutaj, bo będzie szachowany przez wieżę. To jest skoczek, więc on nas nie szachuje. Gońce to są te, więc ten goniec też nas nie szachuje, to są zapewne pionki. Ten goniec nas tutaj nie szachuje, więc król może tutaj stać. Król może też stać tutaj chyba. Tak, bo to jest goniec. Może tak być. No i teraz nasz goniec i nasz skoczek muszą zamatować, tak myślę, że o to chodzi, króla. W tej chwili skoczek go szachuje. Goniec powinien obstawić chyba tę pozycję, moim zdaniem, bo wtedy król nie będzie mógł się ruszyć. Nie wiem, czy... Chyba źle kombinuję na razie. Dlatego, że on może uciec tu, więc zamieńmy gońca. Nie, to jest król. Gońca wstawmy tutaj. Nie mogę trafić. Tutaj. No widzicie, akurat przy tej zagadce ten interfejs nie jest zbyt wygodny. Dobra. Zaraz. Skoczka damy tutaj. I to będzie mat, bo tamte pola przyległe były szachowane.
Look.
What is that? It's not the Holy Grail, is it?
No, Senor Stobbart. It is the communion chalice of the day Vasconcellos, missing for almost 700 years.
Wow! Well, go on.
I cannot. I can hardly believe it is real.
Go ahead. Live a little.
I am sure. This is your moment of triumph, Senor Stobbart.
Sure, I'm sure. The possibility of death traps only occurred to me a few days later.
Nie my byśmy wpadli w tę pułapkę, tylko hrabina.
So the curse of the Vasconcellos is lifted?
Oh no. The Countess was thrilled to find the lost chalice, but there's still the riddle of the missing knight.
Well, you can forget about that now and get back to finding the Templar's secret.
Actually, I promised the Countess I'd find Don Carlos.
You what?
I can explain everything.
You have got the odds for a withered old Spanish aristocrat?
The Countess entrusted me with the chalice and the quest for her ancestor's tomb.
You're as crazy as she is. Haven't you got enough problems? Khan and the Templars?
It's all part of the same thing. The chalice is important, I'm sure. The manuscript pointed us to the knight, and I have to find him.
What then?
I don't know. But when the knight and the chalice are reunited, maybe I will.
No, chyba zazdrosna się zrobiła.
This is the chalice I discovered in Spain.
I still can't figure out why the Countess gave it to you. After losing it for all those years, she simply gave it away to a total stranger? She's one prawn short of a paella.
The Countess is a fine lady. You shouldn't compare her with seafood.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's something going on between you and that Countess.
Are you serious? She's old enough to be my grandmother.
No, to na ostro weszła ta zazdrość.
I'll be back as soon as I can.
Okay.
Zwłaszcza biorąc pod uwagę, że no hrabina, trudno powiedzieć ile ma lat, ale może mieć koło 70 na przykład. Może nawet więcej. Teraz wrócimy do Montfaucon i natykamy się na starego znajomego.
You're back.
Oui, I have returned.
Hello again.
Hello again, monsieur.
What does this chalice suggest to you?
Wine.
Maybe not. Well, I wasn't expecting to see you back here again.
No? Well, it is a strange thing, but I am here on duty.
On duty? But you're just sitting there drinking wine.
No, I am not just drinking wine. I am undercover.
I must be missing something. You're in uniform.
Precisely, monsieur. My cover is that of an indolent wine-guzzling police officer.
You've got me convinced.
Merci. But in reality, my every muscle is poised, every nerve honed. I am drawn tight, ready to pounce. Dang!
Who or what were you planning to pizzang on?
You must have heard, monsieur, of the terror that is gripping Paris.
You mean the killings? Oh, at last, someone's taken action.
People die every day. No, I am on the trail of Sewer Jacques.
Who?
Sewer Jacques, the terror of the subterranean city. He pops up here, he pops up there. The cops, they seek him everywhere. Is he so hush or beneath the neck? That damned elusive Sewer.
Bravo, that's very good.
Merci. I was up half the night writing that.
Masz talent, chłopie. Ale pewnie. Co tam morderca? Ludzie umierają każdego dnia. Ale że ktoś chodzi po kanałach, no to już trzeba reagować.
Who is this Sewer Jacques character anyway?
If we but knew that, we could have him in custody in an hour. But he is cunning. To despoil the sewers of our fair city, he has committed many deceptions. He has pretended to be a police officer and deluded a poor war veteran.
Uh-oh.
He has pretended to be a jongleur
Wow, is that the time?
and an American tourist. What nationality are you, monsieur?
Canadian. Well, gotta go now. See ya. Well, it's not everyone who can say they started an urban myth.
Czyli George zmienił narodowość. Nie będziemy wchodzić ponownie tam, do kanałów. Czyli sława wyprzedziła George'a. No i mamy przed sobą kościół.
A knight's tomb, his effigy in marble lying in perpetual state, waiting in prayer for the judgment day. A knight there in the company of his fellows, biblical references engraved into the tomb edge to guide his way to the next world, I guess. A stone knight lay on the church floor. Just think, there's a dead guy under there.
Takie filozoficzne myśli tutaj przychodzą. Melancholia chyba ogarnęła George'a.
The second stone knight in a row of 4 lay on the church floor. I was surprised Philip le Bel had left this place alone.
Tutaj piękny witraż.
A stone knight lay in full stone armor, blank eyes looking at the ceiling. Carrying all that armor around must have been hard work. A stone knight lay at the end of a row of 4. I wondered if this guy had died in combat.
Sprawdźmy to okno, ten witraż.
A huge stained glass window formed a magnificent centerpiece for its neighbors. I didn't recognize the biblical story in it. I was a Sunday school dropout. A statue of a knight holding a staff and a scroll. The statue had any secrets. It was concealing them pretty well. A scroll was a symbol of scholarship. I knew that much. A scholarly knight. That rang a bell. A very Spanish bell. On the end of the staff was some kind of disc with a cross on it. Around the base of the disc was a hairline crack. Well, I could have just taken the end off the staff, but I wanted to be sure what I'd be getting out of vandalizing a church, other than deported.
No raczej nie na oczach księdza.
Per disciplinum meum lux videbis.
Wskazuje
A bit of
kciukiem
a
w dół.
stained glass window. Wow.
A u stóp
Hoping for a big insight while squinting through a hunk of statuary had been pretty optimistic, I guess.
U jego stóp znajdował się wąż. Jeszcze spójrzmy na te rzędy ławek.
A row of old pews, beautifully carved and glowing with polish. I thought of all the people who must have sat here over the decades. All those Parisian derrieres, firm buttocks of the young ladies, the flabby flesh of the old men. That wasn't a pleasing image, so I went back to the young ladies.
Ja nie mam takich przemyśleń, kiedy widzę ławki.
I didn't have time to sit around.
Dobrze, zajmijmy się kapłanem.
A priest stood by the pews, energetically polishing something. Excuse me, Father.
Pardon?
Do you mind if I ask you a few questions?
Not at all, monsieur. It will be my pleasure to help you.
I have here a sewer key.
Ah, oui?
I don't know why I'm showing you this.
Neither do I.
Nie wiem, dlaczego to w sumie mówisz wszystkim napotkanym osobom.
I've got a red nose.
Oui, so you have.
There's grease paint on this tissue.
Oui, you are correct.
Bardzo interesująca dyskusja.
Have you seen this man before?
No, I have never seen him before.
I thought about using the shake and shock on him, but I couldn't do that to a priest.
Czyli masz jakieś opory. Nie robisz tego perl i duchownym.
Have you ever heard of this guy?
No, monsieur, I'm afraid not. Is he a friend?
Not really. More of an acquaintance. I was in Ireland recently and I brought back this plaster.
My sister brought back a shillelagh.
No znów pasjonująca wymiana zdań.
Have you ever seen anything like this lens?
No, never. The glass seems subtly colored in some way.
Yeah, I've never noticed that before. What do you make of this chalice?
It certainly looks very old.
About as old as this church, I think.
There seems to be an engraving on it.
Yeah? What does it say?
I do not know, it is very tarnished. With your permission, I could try polishing it. I promise I will be very careful.
Oczywiście, że tak. Nie będziemy musieli sami tego robić.
That'd be very good of you.
This shouldn't take very long. Feel free to look around.
Okay, thanks.
Dobrze, niech czyści kielich, a my zrobimy taką jedną małą rzecz. Tylko potrzebuję, żebyś podszedł tutaj, a nie odchodził. Użyjemy obiektywu tych soczewek na zwoju.
The lens fitted into the end of the scroll like a hand into a glove. Hey! A Knight Templar burning at the stake, and a date. Let me see. MCCCXIV. That's 1314.
No tak, czyli ukazały się teraz naszym oczom nowe szczegóły tego witrażu, po tym jak spojrzeliśmy przez soczewki. No i widać, trzeba było to zrobić, żeby kapłan wypolerował kielich.
Hello again, Father. Hey, thanks.
It is my pleasure, monsieur.
What was the writing on the chalice?
It was not writing, my mistake. It was a coat of arms. The remarkable thing is that it seems very familiar.
Yeah?
Oui, I think I have seen it on that wall tomb in the far corner. That winged horse is quite distinctive.
No to ciekawe, będziemy musieli sprawdzić ten grobowiec.
Boy, what a shine you got on this!
Merci. It is all in the wrist action.
Did you know that the center window conceals an image of a man burning at the stake?
The burning man?
What, you knew?
That there was a hidden image? No. But the church has a reputation for being haunted. Many times people have claimed to have seen a burning man in the window. But when others they look, there is nothing. Perhaps the light has to be just so for the figure to appear.
Yeah, or maybe you need a special lens. You must be proud to have such an incredible collection of stained glass.
Pride is a sin, monsieur, but it is hard not to marvel when the light shines through them. It is a fine example of the artisan's genius.
No tutaj muszę przyznać, że właściwie o każdej lokacji można by coś takiego powiedzieć, że wygląda pięknie, jest tutaj na czym oko zawiesić. No i owszem, ten kościół również zdecydowanie się wyróżnia.
What do you know about the Knights Templar?
You have come to the right place, if that is your interest. Many of them were executed in the square outside. It was a disgrace to France.
Well, the Pope was right behind it, though.
Clement V was a man of memo, not of God.
That's kind of forthright for a priest, isn't it?
You think so? It is hard to be sure what happened. It is so long ago.
How long have you worked here?
Hardly work, monsieur. This is a calling. I have been helping Father Flambert for nearly 6 months now.
Czyli nie jest proboszczem, tylko pomaga głównemu księdzu.
I guess you don't know much about the history of this church, then.
Just a little.
You've got quite a shine on that candlestick.
Ah, oui. Anything less than best would be an insult to the Almighty.
I guess so. I never thought of it like that. Catch you later.
Au revoir,
dobrze.
monsieur.
No dobrze. To teraz sprawdźmy ten pomnik.
Just think. There's a dead guy under there. No. It couldn't be. Could it? No.
No, czyli bez szczegółów na razie. Dobrze. Myślę, że zrobiliśmy w kościele tyle, ile na ten moment powinniśmy zrobić. No i przejdę jeszcze do kolejnej lokacji i zakończę w tym miejscu odcinek. No, było ciekawie, bo zwiedziliśmy Hiszpanię, no i tutaj też wróciliśmy. Hiszpania wprowadza mnie w taką błogą, spokojną atmosferę, mimo że przez moment było groźnie, bo mogliśmy stać się karmą dla psów. No ale uniknęliśmy tego. No i czas odwiedzić oczywiście naszego dobrego przyjaciela André Lovino. Ale porozmawiamy z nim już w kolejnym odcinku. Jak widać, cały czas nachyla się nad tą samą gablotą. Dziękuję serdecznie za uwagę. Trzymajcie się. Do usłyszenia.